Hi, I'm Cleo and I'm passionate about creating recipes that are better for your body and the environment while not compromising on taste. I've always been a self-professed chocoholic, but I could never find a healthy recipe that was as fudgy and decadent as I desired. These brownies are one of my top 5 favorite recipes. Instead of using flour, the base of this recipe is cashew butter or any other nut or seed butter you would like to use. Instead of using white sugar, we're using a mix of coconut sugar and maple syrup. Coconut sugar has a lower glycemic index than white sugar and contains a plethora of minerals. Instead of using butter in this recipe, our dairy will be Greek yogurt. We're also using cacao powder. Cacao powder has a deeper and more bitter taste than cocoa powder, which has been more heavily processed. The first step is to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. So the first ingredient we're going to add is 2 eggs to your large bowl. And you just want to whisk that up. Once you've beaten your eggs, you are going to add your Greek yogurt. So this is a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. I'm using 5% because it just makes it fudgier. You can use whatever percentage you want. You're gonna whisk that up. Your next ingredient you're gonna add is your star of the show, which is, I'm using cashew butter. You can use any nut or seed butter you want. Cashew butter is actually the second least water intensive crop for the nut butters. Peanut butter is the least water intensive crop. And if you wanted to make this even better for the environment or safe to bring into school, sunflower seed butter works very well. So does pumpkin seed butter and tahini. You just want to use a nut butter that is as creamy as possible, and of course you like the taste of. If you want your brownies to be fudgy, they need to have some fat source. Next, you're gonna add 1/2 a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Incorporate that and start on our sweeteners. So we're doing 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. You can definitely use honey here, or you could even just use 2 more tablespoons of sugar. This brownie mix, as you will see, will get very thick. That is intentional. Fear not. Something I like to do is add my 1/2 a teaspoon of baking soda before I add my drier ingredients, which will be my cacao powder, because I find it gets incorporated really well, and then you don't have the issue of baking soda clumps. And I actually like to add my cacao powder now so that it gets really well incorporated. I do like to use organic and fair trade, and I try and source as many of my ingredients as possible as such. It's just really important, especially with ingredients like cacao powder. You want to ensure that the farming practices are more sustainable. And we're gonna add our final ingredient, which is 1/2 a cup of coconut sugar. Your batter should be very thick, and you don't have to worry about overmixing because there's no gluten in this recipe, so your brownies won't get tough or very dense if you overmix it compared to regular recipes that use flour. And it will be ready when you have a beautiful and very thick batter that smells divine. So you want to put it in this is roughly 8x6 baking tray. You can also use, I love using a banana bread loaf size tin. It's best to use non-stick. If it isn't, you can spray a little bit of cooking spray. You can use parchment paper. Once you have your batter in your tray, you're just going to press it down. You can add chocolate chips if you like, but I find this recipe is rich enough that it does not need extra chocolate chips. Now you're going to put your brownies into your preheated oven for 20 to 25 minutes. Normally around the 22-minute mark is when I take mine out, but watch them carefully as you don't want them to overcook if you want a fudgy center. It has been 20 minutes and my brownies seem to be ready. It is important to note that with gluten-free baking, and because these are flourless, they'll continue to cook as they cool. So I like to err on the side of caution and take them out after about 20-22 minutes and let them cool and continue to cook, and then they'll be completely ready. Now it is time to plate our delicious brownies after all our hard work. So make sure you have clean hands, and then get your incredible brownie piece, and I'm going to put it on a plate. If you want to garnish with a strawberry or two, and then you have your fudgy brownie with a almost crinkly top, which is very difficult to get without butter, and it's time to enjoy. That was my favorite brownie recipe. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you make the brownies. You can click on the link down below for more recipes on the Blue Dot website or my personal baking website, cleoscleancakes.com.